Benjamin Vaughn, bat specialist here. We were hired to bat-proof this Collingwood home because big brown bats were showing up inside and freaking out the homeowners. The bats were using gaps like this to enter the attic. They were then crawling across the insulation and entering into an interior wall here. From there, some would crawl all the way down to the basement and were coming out of the wall here in the furnace room. You can see the droppings they left behind. Now, we began the exclusion process by first sealing these very irregular gaps at the soffit line. We did this by putting in foam backer rods and then applying wide beads of caulk. Now, this is actually a clear caulk, but for some reason it's white when applied, but don't worry, it will turn clear as it dries. After sealing the soffit line on the entire house, we next went up on the roof and installed box screens on the roof vents. These will keep out the bats as well as raccoons and squirrels. Then we checked the chimney and did some sealing and installed half-inch mesh screening to keep bats out of the furnace chimney. We then caulked the chimney flashings using high-quality caulk made to withstand the summer heat and freezing winters in Ontario. Then we went and screened off this bathroom fan vent and began screwing down the flashings using our lovely waterproof screws and applied more caulk to the intersections between the roof and the siding. Lots of gaps were found and sealed between the siding and the soffits. Next, we pulled this downspout off the wall, and as we suspected, there were a lot of gaps behind it that were not otherwise visible. Had we not found and sealed these openings, it's doubtful we could have kept the bats out for very long. After sealing some of these gaps, some of the bees found themselves locked out. Then we went and checked the drip edge and screwed it tight on the entire roof perimeter. For this intersection between the roof and the soffits, we got the brake off the van and made up some custom flashings to keep out the bats as well as mice, raccoons, and squirrels. Speaking of mice, when we looked more closely at this entry point in back, we realized that bats and mice were using it. So we set up one of our aluminum exclusion devices here. Had we used a plastic exclusion device, the mice would likely have chewed through it instead. After setting up more exclusion vents and doing some touch-ups, we cleaned everything up, and this is how many tubes of caulking it took to bat-proof this house. Then we packed up our tools and left. The bats took care of the rest. They all self-removed over the next few nights. A few weeks later, we came back, removed the exclusion vents, sealed the last openings, and called it a day. We gave them a lifetime warranty, and 3 years later, still no bats in the house. Now, if you're looking to have your house bat-proofed, but you're not sure who to hire, we suggest watching our video, 10 Red Flags, 10 Simple Ways to Tell When Someone is Unqualified to Fix Your Bat Problem, a link to which is right here.